It's exactly 5 minutes after 8. Benedict Kwesi is right here. We're going to be talking football. We're talking Ghana football, but I want to start from somewhere else. And Benedict, thanks for joining me again. Let's talk about the English Premier League that's ended. The FA Cup is also, done.
So now the English Premier League season, or the English season, is over.
Is over.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we're looking up forward to the Champions League, which is next Saturday as well.
Yeah.
Okay. How big a deal is this Champions League?
It is.
Juve, Real Madrid?
It's a big deal for both teams. For Real Madrid, if they're able to do this, they become the very first team in history to win the UEFA Champions League back-to-back. It has never happened before. And for Juventus, if they're able to win, they make it a treble. They've already won the Coppa Italia. They've won the Scudetto title. So if they do this, they make it a treble. And it has not happened in the history of the club for a very long time. So for the two teams, big deal for Madrid if they're able to do it back-to-back. And for Juventus, will be the treble for them. And obviously, the man Buffon, he's been at Juventus for a very long time. And if he's able to do this, people are clamoring that he should be named the world best player. And this will make it very, very real for him to be named the world best player if they're able to win.
Do we have any Ghanaians playing in this Champions League?
Yes, we have one Ghanaian. Kwesi Appiah is with Juventus, but he hardly plays. Obviously, will be on the bench.
He sits on the bench, or they don't call him at all?
No, he sits on the bench. He's in a Champions League squad. All the matches that they've played, I think in the group stages, yes, he played some of the games, but when they got to the knockout stages, he's not played any game yet. He's always on the bench. But it will be good for a Ghanaian to win. He's won the Scudetto how many times? 6 times with the same club. Has won the Coppa Italia, although he's not kicked the ball. But if he's in and they win, remember Suleiman Muntari won it with Inter Milan, Michael Essien won it with Chelsea. So if you have another Ghanaian winning it, it will be very, very nice.
Is he one of those we call up for
No. Could you have someone for, since how long? I think after 2014 World Cup, he's not featured for the Black Stars again.
Okay.
With reasons known to him.
Was he one of the stubborn ones?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Could you have someone, very, very good player, but reasons best known to him, he's decided not to honor any call up to the Black Stars. So we'll leave it aside.
And I'm sure that with the Premier League done, with one that a lot of us are obsessed with, we will now be paying attention to our own local league.
Yes, of course. And the second round just started, which is very good. And it helps in promotion of our league as well, because now there is no English Premier League, there is no Spanish La Liga. When the UEFA Champions League final is done, it means everything we're going to do now will be centered on our league and the Black Stars qualifiers as well. So it will give a lot of attention to the Premier League, which is very, very good for our clubs and also our players, especially when Kwesi Appiah has scored 7 local players into the Black Stars team. It tells you that, yes, we have some great players. And, it's so nice. And for the first time that Kwesi Appiah has named the squad, that he has included local players, everybody is just numb about it. People are not talking about it because these are guys that are doing very well in the league. So
it does feel like he's now in charge.
Yes, of course.
Is it like he's now in charge? Like we didn't really see him in charge before, but now he is in charge?
No, he has always been in charge. It's just that this time, it's just that this time, the template that we used to see when Avram Grant was in charge of the team, where when we are going to call up players, you always will see the familiar faces and the old names, Waka, Su, Christian Achu, Razak Brahma. Kwesi Appiah, his first call-up since his return. Razak Brahma has been our #1 in the last 3 years. The last 2 AFCON editions, he was our #1. Kwesi Appiah asked him, rather brought in 3 local goalkeepers. The only foreign goalkeeper is Adam Kwasi. There is no Mubarak Wakasu. Christian Achu, he picked up an injury, so he's not in. Ajman Bedu has been a regular member of the Black Stars since when? 2010. He's not in this squad.
Wow. We're talking now about the return of Kwesi Appiah, because Benedict, you've put together this piece on Kwesi Appiah's return. What's been your motivation for putting this together?
I was wondering how somebody who was Avram Grant, predecessor, becomes his successor. You understand?
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, because I was trying to understand that this was somebody that left. We brought in a foreign coach, and all of a sudden he's become so good that we are bringing him back. So I wanted to explore that and really wanted to find out what necessitated that, because it hardly happens that a coach will just leave some few years, he comes back. Yes, and they do come back.
Kwesi Appiah. Yeah, we did bash him.
We did.
And a lot of us were excited when he was relieved of the post.
We did, but I think Kwesi Appiah did something amazing for us, because you look at the players that we are relying on now. He brought in these players. It was during this time that we discovered Muba Akwakasu, we discovered Christian Achu, we discovered other young players, and these are players that today they are key players. So his comeback actually makes Avram Grant makes the job relatively easier for Kwesi Appiah, because most of the players that Avram Grant came to meet or he used are players that Kwesi Appiah brought into the squad. So it makes his job very, very easy. And you know, anybody will talk about what happened in Brazil, that maybe he was soft, but I always say that if things that we did for Milovan Rajac in 2010, if things that we did for Doya in 2006 when we played at the World Cups, if those things had been done for Kwesi Appiah, it would have been a different result. Yeah. Milovan did not make things very easy when players were paid appearance fees and were given monies that were due them. Same as Ratomir Dukovic. But during Kwesi Appiah's time, monies were not given to players, and when players were to, you know, train, we were discussing money.
It's true. It's true.
So
well, we'll come back to this documentary airs tonight. Yeah. But like we do on the AM show, we're the first, and we're privileged to be able to show some excerpts. But let's continue to talk about the return of Kwesi Appiah with Benedict Owusu-Dankwa, who's put together a documentary that airs 6:30 p.m. right here on JoyNews today, the return of Kwesi Appiah. So who are the people that you encountered, you know, in putting together this?
Well, Kwesi Appiah himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and also Ibrahim Sanida. It was always nice to speak to the FA and get their perspective on what happened. First, why they made him the head coach, what stated to his exit, and why they are bringing him back. And also I spoke to Michael Utieje, you know, he's a sports analyst. Obviously wanted to find out what Oti also made of Kwesi Appiah's reign then, and his comeback as well, what he feels are the things Kwesi Appiah should do. And I spoke to Celestete, he's a former Ghana coach.
One of my favorites.
Yes, the only African coach to have won the Under-20 World Cup with Ghana. That was in 2009. So it was also nice to speak to him as well, because he's been at the Black Stars level before. He was an assistant coach. Yes, he was the one, he left when Kwesi Appiah came, 2008, when we played the AFCON tournament here. He was the assistant coach. So it was after he left and Kwesi Appiah was brought in. So I also had to speak to him as well. So these are the main characters.
So introduce us to what you're showing us this morning on the AM show.
Well, this morning, actually, what we're going to show our viewers is that we're just going to give them snippets of what they'll be seeing tonight. That's at 6:30 on this same channel. So,
all right. Enjoy the return of Kwesi Appiah.
Yeah.
Joy Sports checks have revealed Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah will be released from his position from the national team on Friday.
I never thought it would be so soon.
Sometimes you need to be away for people to recognize just how good you were.
We didn't say we were sacking him. We said we were parting company.
On this note, I have the singular honor to introduce to you the reappointment and the new coach for the Black Stars, Mr. James Kwesi Appiah.
James Kwesi Appiah played as a left back for Asante Kotoko between 1983 and 1993. Appiah played for the Black Stars for 5 years. As a coach, Kwesi Appiah received technical training from English clubs Manchester City and Liverpool. He was Ghana's assistant coach between 2008 and 2012.
Some people become coaches immediately after their footballing careers. I think that if you were Kwesi Appiah in the way you were, and you've got to go back to his background as a player and everything, everywhere he's been considered a natural born leader, not by what he says, but just the sheer respect that he has among everybody. So he was Kotoko captain for an incredibly long time, Kotoko coach at some point, Black Stars captain for a long time. He walks into a room of his colleagues and the respect is palpable in many ways.
Appiah worked under two expatriate coaches, Milovan Rajevac and Goran Stevanovic, for 4 years. Some few days after the Africa Cup of Nations in Gabon, the Ghana Football Association parted company with Israeli trainer Avram Grant. Names of coaches came up for the vacant coaching job, but Kwesi Appiah was appointed as head coach of the team once again.
It was after Plavi, Goran Stevanovic left, and the board thought that Kwesi Appiah has been working under several coaches, and given what he had done under Plavi even before him, the board thought that it was now time for him to be handed the mantle, because he has proven during trainings and match preparation, during matches and the rest, that he was ready for the top job. And that was when the FA decided to give the job to him.
If you spend the period that he spent assisting, first it was Rajevac before Stevanovic, over a 4-year period, he seemed to have known the team inside out. The players respected him. He knew his stuff, as we would have noticed in the qualifiers that he oversaw. And then I thought the timing was perfect. There's really no perfect time for any such thing. But a 4-year apprenticeship, I reckon, sometimes is enough based on the qualities he defined. It's not every assistant who goes on to become the boss, but I think Kwesi proved over the period and over the period that he's proved since 2013 that it was good enough to hand him the job.
He's a colleague. He's a celebrated coach I've worked with. We've been so close. And he has happened to take the first Ghanaian coach to take Ghana to the World Cup. Yes, and fortunately for him, he's coming back again.
I think Ghanaians were calling for me. It's not because of me. It's because of the little work that I did. Yeah. You know, and that's what I'm talking about. I was not looking at Ghana at that time. I was looking at Ghana next 5-10 years. What should we gain from these players that we're bringing in? And it's about people recognizing the work that I did by bringing a whole lot of young players, you know, to make the team. And for me, a team is a good team when there's competition in the team. When you don't have competition in the team, everybody relaxes and plays as he wants.
I bet you want more. It has to be 6:30 p.m. And listen, this is fantastic. Just a little bit that we've seen. What message? What kind of message did you want this piece to carry?
Well, one, trying to find out why he's coming back and also what he intends to do, because he's been given a 2-year contract, and obviously from now till the time he will leave, Kwesi Appiah would want him to build a team as he did in the first half, and that's what he has started. So I really want people to know who this man is. And it's not even just about talking about why he's coming back. You also will find out how he started his coaching career.
Okay.
Most of us know him just at the Black Stars level, but he actually started at Asante Kotoko back in the 90s. Oh. You know, yeah, he was an assistant coach for 2 trainers at Kotoko before he became the head coach, and played with Kotoko in Africa. So it's not just about the Black Stars, and he even joined Jones Atukwefio at the Black Stars level in 2000 and left for the UK, where, you know, he schooled and did some courses in coaching, and then returned as assistant coach in 2008 before he was named head coach in 2012. So it's not just about Kwesi Appiah Black Stars, but also find out more about who the man is. So it's something very, very interesting that if you spend your time to watch, you will love it.
There's something about him, Mr. James Kwesi Appiah. From afar.
Looks very calm.
Yes, very quiet.
But he's very
But
tough.
what kind of person
have you ever heard that he's called a silent killer?
Not quiet.
You've never heard it anywhere?
Not quiet.
All right, okay. He's called a silent killer, and I even asked him in this documentary.
Yeah.
You know the player who named him the silent killer? Suleiman Tai.
Oh.
So if a player like Suleiman Tai will name Kwesi Appiah as a silent killer, then you know the kind of person he is. He comes across as a very quiet person.
Yeah.
But when he's very tough on the job.
Okay.
And the little that I saw when I went to Pram Pram to interview, to interview him, tells you that yes, you will see everything.
Because there's this picture that is painted, you know, like the local, calm, like the players, especially those who play the international games, they are disrespectful to him because he is a Ghanaian as well.
It's never been the case.
Yeah?
It has never been the case. And Fatal Dauda, who is also in this documentary, confirmed that, well, that's what people outside see.
Yeah.
But when you are in the dressing room, you know
he's in charge.
Yes, you know who Kwesi Appiah is. And you see everything. And myself, the very first time I had the opportunity to see something like that, I was surprised. Because this is a person that comes to us as very quiet and, you know, wouldn't even know how to speak to people and tell them straight to their face that this is what you've done and you must do it this way. But when I saw it, I'm like, wow, yes, this is what we are missing.
So is it in 2 parts, or, you know, we're watching everything today?
Yeah, we'll watch it today and tomorrow as well.
Okay.
And it'll be on radio on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So return of Kwesi Appiah.
Yeah.
What should we... Often when we do the documentaries, is it that you have, like, I say people should get popcorn or something like that on the side.
What do you want?
But what should people take to keep them company as they watch at 6:30?
I think you don't need anything. The story itself will give you, and it's something if you sit down, I'm not sure you want to get up and, you know, do anything else than to finish this documentary. You don't need any popcorn. You don't need anything. You just have to be by your set and just focus on whatever we're going to show you, because it's so interesting that you wouldn't want to miss any part of this.
Yeah. Congratulations to you, Benedict. I'm happy that you did this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, we have to thank the editor, that's Lami.
Okay.
Amazing
did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks to you, Lami. Lami is our editor on this beat. Return of Kwesi Appiah shows this evening at 6:30, and there will be a continuation of it tomorrow at 6:30 as well. But Benedict, just before you run off, we've seen the coach make some call-ups. What game are we getting ready for?
Well, the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers is starting next month, June 11. Our first game is against Ethiopia. Will be in Kumasi, and also we have 2 international friendlies in the US. We are playing against Mexico on June 28, and also the US on July 1. So he's put together a 30-man team, and as I noted earlier, 7 local players, 10 new faces in the team. Players that, you know, are not used to players. 10 new players have received their debut call-ups, and you have the usual players of Andrea, you are Samaja, and the other guys. So 30 players. They will start camping on Wednesday here in Accra. Then we'll move to Kumasi somewhere next week. The game is on June 11. Then after 2 weeks, they'll fly to America for the 2 international friendlies against Mexico and July. Maybe we'll take you along. Or you don't want to go to America.
Let's talk about under 17.
Oh,
Even
I know you are disappointed.
No, I'm not. Even though they lost against Mali, they're still a fantastic team, and I think they've done really well.
Okay, I think one thing we should know is under 17 is not just about winning trophies. It's about development of players. And that's something I am so glad that at this point Ghanaians have come to understand. Because previously when we go for tournaments, we're always talking about trophies. But when you get to understand that we are developing players, we are building up players for future national assignments, like you get to the under 20. When you get to the Black Stars level, that's where we don't negotiate anything away from winning a title, because we've seen the development, we've seen greater things from these young players, and I'm so excited that we're able to even get to this stage. At least we've seen that we have a future when it comes to under 20. My only prayer is that we will build up on this squad and not disband them, throw them away, but rather keep the core team for the next under 20. You know, we have a World Cup to play, so maybe we can just make 1 or 2 additions in the team. Then we'll keep these core players for the under 20 and obviously progress them to the under 23 level, where later we'll see some of these players in the Black Stars.
But we've got a big weakness as a country.
Oh, of course.
We waste opportunities. We don't score goals.
You see, the thing,
how do we fix that?
The thing about Ghana is we always lack strikers. Look, Asamoah has been our main striker for how many years now? For almost 15 years. Yes, Jordan Ayew is there. It has always been a problem for Ghana. I spoke to a white man who works with the BBC and was telling me that, you know something, if Ghana had a player like Samuel Eto'o, if Ghana had a player like Adebayo, if Ghana had a player like Didier Drogba, I'm sure Ghana will be the best ever in Africa. When you talk about midfielders, we always have a lot of midfielders, great players, plays at the highest level in clubs in Europe. But when it comes to strikers, apart from Asamajan, Jordan Ayew, which other striker can you mention? And it has always been our problem. Even here on the local scene, we have that problem.
So can we buy? We can buy and get somebody to either naturalize or something and be Ghanaian. Well, because we need strikers.
And I'm happy with what Kwesi Appiah started. Now he's giving some young boys the opportunity. So probably maybe through that we'll get to, you know, find replacement for Asamoah, because Asamoah came in to replace some big players in the team. So it will be right and proper to also get in players when we know very well that Asamoah will not be there for us forever. Jordan Ayew will not be there for us forever. So I'm happy that he has started on a very good note with this, you know, squad that he has named. And as time goes on, we pray that we get in more young players. And now look at even the under-17, Eric Appiah, one fantastic player. It's just unfortunate that he could not score more goals, but he was eventually named player of the tournament. Scored 4 goals in this very tournament. So these are some of the players that we can keep around and build on whatever talents they have and develop them, so that in future when Asamoah and the big boys are not there, they can easily fix it.
Yeah. Do you feel that, just the last one on this, do you feel that Ghanaians like the fact that Kwesi Appiah is our coach? I mean, ordinary Ghanaians, not, you know, the analysts and the football people that you spoke with, but ordinary people.
I think so, because even before his appointment, there were calls, and people were always talking about Kwesi Appiah, because when the name, when the story about we getting a local coach came up, almost everybody was talking about Kwesi Appiah.
But we're the same people who wanted him out.
You know why? Because Avram Grant makes the job relatively very easier for Kwesi Appiah, because people thought that when Avram Grant came, what did he do? He did not really add up to anything that Kwesi Appiah left for him. So if you want a local coach, then why not bring the guy who brought in all these young players who Avram Grant came to feed on?
Okay.
So that makes it very easy for him.
Benedict, thank you. Congratulations again.